Welcome to a new program interviewing the leaders in technology and business in Latin America and now worldwide with your channel, America Digital News TV. Today we have a special guest. Special because this is a huge, giant company, not only in telecommunication, but also in consumer electronics and also in cloud, okay? So this is a huge company in three categories worldwide. Of course, we are talking about Huawei. And today we have Mr. Lucien Liu, the President of Huawei Cloud Mexico. Mr. Liu, welcome to our channel.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, everyone.
Oh, I have several questions for you because it's a pleasure for us to have Huawei here. I just to share with our audience that Mr. Liu has more than 15 years working with experience at Huawei. He started at the Research and Development Department, and then he built a solid professional knowledge base and a flexible way of thinking. And in 2012, he started to serve as Vice President of the Central America Cloud Solution. And today, currently, he is serving as a President of Huawei Cloud Mexico. So thank you again for sharing with us your concepts and ideas of how Huawei is going to keep growing in the next years. So let me start with one question, and this is about multinational because Huawei has these three categories: the consumer electronics, the telecommunication, the cloud, and perhaps way more than we do not know. And so how did Huawei decide to launch a specific line of business dedicated to cloud technologies?
Okay, actually, let me correct you a little bit. So far, right now, we have actually five different divisions in Huawei. We have a carrier, we have enterprise, we have consumer. And besides of that, actually, we launched a cloud business unit and also the car business unit in China. And why we have this new launch of cloud business, actually, is not a short story. So as you may know that we have more than 30 years experience in ICT industry. So with this ICT industry, we serve a lot of customers worldwide. And of course, we have to provide the IT infrastructure in the meanwhile. And during, I remember 10 years before, we have our IT product line launched. And then we provide computing, storage, all those infrastructure to customer. And by the time the technology evolved, so we have, let's say, private cloud, and we joined the OpenStack societies to generate a lot of new technology and contribute to the open source world. And by involving of the technology, we were going to cloud business and cloud technology. And after serving our customers and ourselves, we found that cloud, and especially the public cloud, became the fundamental of the future ICT world. So with this initiative, by 2017, Huawei launched the public cloud brand with our own brand. And by 1.5 years before, we launched Mexico Huawei Cloud. So that was the story.
Very good, very complete, and thank you for sharing this in a huge perspective. So since you have so many categories, let's focus on your specialty, which is cloud technologies. And I love the way that Huawei think several years ahead. So what is the company vision for cloud technology?
Okay, so talking about the vision of cloud technology, first of all, we have to clarify something about Huawei's vision. So Huawei's vision is to bring the digital world to every person, home, and organizations. So then we have to establish a full connected, intelligent world. So this is our vision. So in Huawei perspective, we will, so far, the strategy is to use 5G, AI, and cloud. So cloud will be the fundamental of our company's vision to achieve the connected world. So that's our vision of cloud.
Very interesting and complete because it goes to the Internet of Things and also the people as as consumers and also as corporations and entities and government. So what is the Huawei objective for cloud business in the next 3 years, if you can share?
Okay, so for cloud technology, actually it's changing, changing technical world, right? So every day, every year, this technology is evolving, and we cannot say 3 years later what will be the shape or the appearance of cloud technology. So for Huawei, for these recent 3 years, the main target is to improve ourselves. So first of all, we want to improve the infrastructure, especially in Latin America and Mexico. We want to build more data centers. We have to accomplish a very, widely infrastructure in the countries, and to provide continuously service to our customer. So this is first. Another thing is to improve our service. So no matter if it's the category of our services on cloud, but also the service quality of our local support team. So in order to provide a continuously safe cloud service to the local customer and to the local market, we have to improve in these two parts, infrastructure and the service. So for us, we don't have a very ambitious target for the marketing share, but we want to improve ourselves in this region and to be adapted to the local policy and the local requirement.
Very good. Now, since you launched the company in Mexico, I would like to ask you, why did Huawei select Mexico and Latin America in order to invest in the local infrastructure?
Let me correct you a little bit. Actually, we are not only launching the company by recently. Actually, we have 20 years in Mexico and more than 20 years in Latin America. Actually, last year was also the 20th year of Huawei Mexico office. So why we are here? Because first, we serve all the big enterprise and the main carriers in this market by those 20 years. So we know that the requirement of ICT infrastructure is growing rapidly, and Huawei, we have very good understanding of the market here. So we want to have a very good support to our customer for the infrastructure and ICT. So by the past years, we found that the cloud demand has been growing rapidly. So that's why we decided to invest in this region. But another thing is we realized here is a gap between the requirement and the infrastructure. So Mexico, basically a lot of big enterprise in Latin America, they put their headquarters here. But all the infrastructure of public cloud right now is not in Mexico, it's in the foreign countries. So there is a big gap of latency, cybersecurity, the data ownership in this country. So in order to bridge this gap, we decided to develop the public cloud in Mexico, in Argentina, in Brazil, and then we can fulfill the requirement of the local regulation and the requirement of the high performance of the ICT industry.
Very good, and thank you for correcting. There are plenty of pros and cons about building infrastructure. So which are the biggest advantage of having local infrastructure in Mexico or in Latin America?
Okay, so the first of all, as I mentioned, the biggest advantage, if you have a local infrastructure here in Mexico, I think the latency of the data, which is very critical for the finance sector, for the internet sector, for the gaming, for example. So the latency is one of the key factors for these industries. And another thing is the data surveillance and the data ownership. So most of the big companies, they don't want to export their data to the foreign countries. They want everything here in Mexico, even on-premise. So Huawei, we have the local infrastructure here. We can support this demand. And another thing is, we are Latin America. We speak Spanish, And we have, of course, we want to talk with Spanish people, and also we use pesos in Mexico, so we want to pay with pesos. So Huawei is here, we accept the local currency, we use local engineer to support our customer. So all those experience and service quality can give a totally different experience to our customers.
You mentioned currency, you mentioned the language. What is the biggest challenge for the cloud adoption in the market, in the Mexican market?
Okay, first of all, I think Mexico market is quite open to the public cloud technology. So this is very good to everyone, to the public cloud providers. But also here are some challenges for the local company to adapt it to the cloud technology. First of all, is the language and the technology, learning of the technology. So to learn the public cloud technology, you always have to read in English, and you always have to talk to the engineers in the foreign countries in before. So this is the first gap. Another thing is, the openness of the technology. So, right now the big trend in the industry is to do open source, right? No matter if it's data or database or operation system, everyone wants to go to open source. But with the current public cloud providers, we do see that a big challenge is, even is public cloud, but always they provide you maybe some private protocol or the operation systems. This create another lock-in of the technology, which is not what we want. So Huawei technology is fully based on the open stack, open source protocols. So we provide very widely open source technology to the industry. So this is another advantage or challenge we want to solve here. And another thing is to evolve to the cloud, the local enterprise, especially the fintech, the big enterprises here, they have the challenge because to migrate to cloud is not only lift and shift, but another thing is they have to rethink about the structure of their cloud, and they have to they need some consultant service from the local market to guide them to go to the cloud. So this is another big challenge, and we are here, and we have local support here, and that's why we want to bridge this gap here.
And there is another challenge, which is regulation, the local regulations of each country. Of course, we are not going to talk about that because it goes more political. But let's talk about the future. How do you see the future of organizations with the use of cloud technologies?
Okay, this is a very hot topic right now, and a lot of enterprise or a lot of owner of the enterprise, they are asking me this question. So how you will bring the difference to my division by cloud technology? But I always tell them, the cloud technology itself will not bring you the change, but to adapt your organization to this technology will really bring the change to your organization, to your division. So what we will bring with technology of cloud, first of all, is the open source can significantly decouple the technology requirement. And another thing is with the cloud technology, you can have a lot of flexibility, right? And then with the flexibility, you can reduce the cost of your organization. And one thing very important I want to give an example is, due to the COVID epidemic of COVID, the user behavior and even the transportation is changing a lot, and a lot of export and import has been stopped. So under this situation, how the industry can adapt to this change, in a short time, right? Because, for example, before people they shop offline, and right now everyone know how to use the online technology to do shopping and even to order the food. So how to deal with the huge amount of data and the requirement of and the demand of the IT infrastructure, I think the cloud can provide a significant difference between the traditional on-premise technology and the cloud technology. So with this change, the critical change of the IT infrastructure requirement or the scale of change of the scale of the IT infrastructure, I think cloud technology, if you adapt it well with cloud technology, that will help a lot. And we do see that in the future, this kind of change, not only caused by COVID, but maybe by other change of the world, will be more and more often. So if any organization, if you have a very good cloud strategy, if you have a very good cloud adaptation, you will be very, step ahead in the future for the change.
Very interesting and complete answer, because the technology is one thing, but the implementation and application of the teams, of the governments, agencies, institutions, and companies, of course, is the key. And the human talent is fundamental in order to do it properly. So how does Huawei Cloud is supporting the company, and especially the Mexican and Latin American companies in this process?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to say, by more than 20 years experience in Latin America, Huawei fully respect the different culture, different regulation, different rules in each country of Latin America. So this brings us a totally, very humble attitude to the local market. So another thing is, Huawei is the only provider in the world has so strict observation on the security, on the privacy protections. So we have very high standard of the privacy and the cybersecurity matters. The third one is Huawei Cloud. Actually, as a cloud provider, we have a very good cooperation with the main enterprise and the main carriers in this area, so we can provide a very good connection from the cloud to the customer, and we have very good cooperation with carriers to have we call it network plus cloud combination. So this is another thing I think we have a unique value in Latin America. The third one is, as a Chinese company, Huawei right now has very widely cooperation in China with enterprises to provide a very high-tech AI, big data kind of technology in China. So we are more than happy to bring this new technology from China to Latin America to help people in Latin America to improve their life and to connect the world, no matter if it's from China or from other countries. And the last thing is, we have a slogan here. We say, in Mexico for Mexico. So Huawei Cloud, we hire more than 100 employees in Mexico to provide local support, to establish our local sales force. And, one of the biggest global supporting center is in Querétaro, Mexico. So we are more than happy to provide more job, more opportunity, and we are more than happy to provide the opportunities for the local talent here. So that's our, advantage, or let's say our willingness to cooperate with Mexico and the Latin American countries.
Well thought. So there are plenty of industries. Actually, all industries are going to be affected and benefit by cloud technology. So what specific industries Huawei Cloud is focusing on, why you choose those specific industries?
Okay, this is a very good question, because last week we just had our partner workshop in Mexico, and it was the first offline activities we have this year. During the activity, we launched the 4 main focused industries this year, which is first one is the fintech. So Huawei, since we have a very strict standard of cybersecurity and the privacy protection. And we do see a lot of demand to retain the data here in Mexico. And we as the only provider who has the infrastructure in Mexico. So we think fintech area is the one that we have to challenge. We have to approach with our technology. So fintech. And the second one is internet, because during the epidemic of the COVID, we see that the big change of user behavior, right, as I mentioned. But here still we have a big gap, or let's say challenge. We see a lot of talent in Mexico. They have the willingness to develop application and to start up their company in Mexico. But due to the limitation of technology and the investment maybe from the other countries, foreign countries, so they have to move out of the country, then start their business. So we do see this is it's a shame, or let's say it's not good for people to move out of their home just for start up their business. So Huawei here, we want to provide a very cost-effective technology and local support in order to retain those startup companies in Mexico and grow in Mexico. So then I think we can also contribute to the economy of Mexico. So this is second one for the internet. The third one and fourth one is the big enterprise and the carriers. So this is the traditional, strong point, or the main focus of Huawei. We have our enterprise business group, we have our carrier business group. So with all those customers, we do see they have the eagerness, they have the requirement to transform their business into the cloud. So Huawei, we are here and we have very good history of cooperation with the enterprise and the carrier. So we hope we can provide a local support and the local, infrastructure to our customers to transform their infrastructure to cloud. Yeah.
We have thousands of CEOs and CIOs watching our channel. And they have one question in mind: how they can prepare for the new normality after pandemic, or at the latest stage of the pandemic, this new normality. So what kind of recommendations would your company would provide for the adoption of the cloud and services to keeping the growth in this new normality for those companies?
Okay, talking about the new normality, actually, it's something like 5 years ago, if you ask me what we can do with 5G, because we don't know what is 5G and the new world, So new normality, actually, we don't know what is new normality. But I think the only thing doesn't change is the change, right? So to adapt to the change for the future and let's say the new normality, I think most important thing in my perspective, we have 3 points to fulfill. First of all is the openness. So we have to keep the technology and our architecture be very open. So this is actually it's a trend right now in Mexico. No matter if it's the government or the big enterprise, they're moving from the private technology, or let's say silos, to the open source technologies. This is the first one. So Huawei, as I mentioned before, we are the open technology supporter, and we contribute a lot in the open source world. So this is first thing I think we can help. Another thing is the flexibility. So as I mentioned, for the epidemic, or let's say the new normal, the change will be always the topic in the industry. So how to adapt? So you put something maybe on premise, but of course you have to keep some flexibility on the cloud part. So if there is a change, or if there is a critical situation, we have to be ready. We have to be able to escape to the cloud. So this is another thing I want to recommend. Another, the last thing will be, let's say the security and the privacy protection. So which is most important. So nowadays the world is changing rapidly, and everything is working as data, right? So we have big data system, we have data lake, very hot topic, and due to the epidemic, we have to collect the personal information, but meanwhile we have to protect the privacy and the personal information. So how to achieve that? Huawei actually, as mentioned, as the most observed company in the world for security and cybersecurity and privacy protection, we have very high standard of security. So in this matter, we are willing to provide local infrastructure, and also we are willing to provide the flexibility between the public cloud and the private cloud. In our language, we call it hybrid cloud technology. We are willing to provide security in all those infrastructures. So at the end, the most important thing is, the change will not be made by one day, right? So a lot of companies, they still have a lot of local, the legacy infrastructures in their on-premise data centers. So Huawei understand that. So we also have this year launched our new solution. We call it Huawei Cloud Stack Online. So it's like extension of the public cloud to the local data center of customers. So with this technology, you can have the same experience, and you can have the public cloud as the backup or as the recovery platform. Then you can still keep your main infrastructure in your data center, but everything is with the same experience, with the same account, and with the same technology from Huawei. So with this technology, we hope we can guarantee the flexibility, the openness, and also the security with both online and offline part. So this is some personal perspective and recommendation to the CIO and the CEOs. If you have more interest, please call me.
Call you. So yes, there will be plenty of people interested to call you and to know more about Huawei. So if you can share how they can contact you, it will be awesome. So I want to give you thanks for sharing the vision of Huawei Cloud, for sharing some insights about how to be part of an open ecosystem and taking advantage of the technology that the giant companies in the world like Huawei is building in order to support the growth of the small, medium, and big companies in each country in Latin America. So thank you for those insights. And the final recommendation, to be open and to be flexible and to be concerned about the security, because it will be key in order to keep growing, especially in this new normality that nobody knows what really means. So thank you, Mr. Liu, for sharing your insights here in our channel. And it will be awesome in order to continue interviewing you in the future and see how the new normality keep evolving.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. So with this interview, we are finishing this interview with this leader in technology and business in Latin America, Mr. Lucien Liu, President of Huawei Cloud, sharing with your channel, America Digital News TV. Thanks.